This is a video on general car maintenance. So what do we do first?
First of all, we're going to start off with checking the tire pressure.
Why?
It's very important to check the tire pressure due to the fact that your tires will last a lot longer, you'll get better fuel mileage, and of course safety.
How do we check the tire pressure?
It's very simple. On every tire, on the sidewall of each tire, you're going to look around and you're going to see a number. In this particular case, my number is right here. It's at 35 PSI. Basically, you need an air pressure test, PSI gauge. Simple. You take out the cap. That isn't there, of course, right now, but put that on there. My particular tire is rated at 35 PSI, which is right on the number at this time. Of course, obviously, if it's low on air, you want to take it to the gas station and fill it up.
What happens if it has too much air?
If it has too much air, you want to, on each of these tire pressure gauges, there is a little button on the other side which will actually let the air out. You don't want to overinflate the tires because there's a good chance that they'll explode, basically.
Okay, what now?
So next we're going to check your engine oil and your windshield washer fluid.
How do we do that?
First of all, what you want to do is come in on the driver's side. Of course, there's going to be a little latch right here. It looks like you're, on this case, it's got a picture of the hood opening. So this is the latch. You pull it towards you, pops the hood. Now, every car has a safety latch on it. So in case that latch ever gets pulled and you're driving down the road, your hood's not just going to fly up. And the safety latch is always pretty much in the middle on most cars. In my case, you push it to the right and it unlatches the safety latch.
All right, where's the oil located?
Your oil on this engine, of course, is right here. It's yellow. Now you're always going to see another dipstick, which mine is right here for my transmission. You don't really ever want to confuse the two. Usually on a lot of cars, that transmission one is red. But on my car, it's yellow. So what you want to do is the first thing you want to do is pull the dipstick and wipe it off.
Why?
Because as you're running the car, the engine is actually throwing oil around it all the time. So you're going to get a misleading read if you just take the first time you pull it out, because I mean it's almost going to look like it's overfilled with oil. So you always want to make sure you clean it first, stick it back in all the way to the bottom, and then pull it back out. Now, when you pull it back out, in my case, on this dipstick, it's 2 dots. That's pretty much the parameters of where the oil should be, between the two, of course. A lot of cars, they have lines instead of dots, whatever the case may be. There's always going to be X's in between where your oil should be. Now, my car right now looks a little low, I would say, but this is a Monster engine, so it eats a lot of oil, so I'm not going to put oil in it at this particular time, but when I do, this is how you would do it. Mine's pretty simple. It's right here. It says oil, and it actually tells you the weight and the viscosity of it. You would just unscrew it, take your quart of oil, pour it in there. Now, sometimes you don't really want to put a whole coil or a whole quart of oil in there, but just because it might just be a little low, so it may just take half a quart. So what you want to do is add some to it, pull the dipstick, see where it's measuring. If you're good, then that's all you need.
All right.
Pretty simple stuff.
What about the washer fluid?
The washer fluid, okay, on my car, you have one side of it, looks kind of like it's washer fluid, but that's actually the reservoir for the radiator. So you don't really want to put washer fluid in that one, but on my car, it looks just like washer fluid. All right, that would be the reservoir. Now, you can't see any blue in here, which is windshield wiper is typically blue. If you don't see it, you want to add it. You want to add it all the way to the top of this reservoir. That way you have as much as you possibly can in there, which is very, very safety
oriented.
Yes, of course, because you ever run out of windshield wiper fluid in the winter, you're going to know it because you won't be able to see because of all the salt and crap they put on the road out here. You're just going to be blinded. So you always want to make sure that thing is full.
All right.
And that's about it.
That's good. Now we know how to check and put oil. Same with washer fluid, and how to check tire pressure.
You know, and then you got to remember, you got your air filter that you have to replace. Most people get their oils changed at, you know, the local oil shop or what have you. I mean, it's probably the way to go nowadays because it's generally just almost the same price to do it yourself as it is to take it somewhere, and they're going to check all this stuff anyways. But when you're out on the road, you know, and you don't need an oil change, it's always, or you're going on a trip, it's always a good idea to make sure, you know, your tire pressure, your engine oil is good, the windshield wipers are good, just because you don't want to run into any problems on the road. It'll save you a lot of grief, believe me.
All right.